Greetings, Mr. Calpin. My name is Ahmed Zaidan from class L4CC, and in this video, I'm going to explain what I have learned from week 9 of Ethical Hacking and Penetration Testing course. This week is a forum week, so we do not have class, but we do have an assignment, and the assignment is about exploitations. So, we already covered in the previous session, there are two kinds of exploitations. The first one is remote exploitations and local exploitations. So, the assignment state that I need to find informations about uh, from remote exploitations. I need to find what Eternal Blue and Log4Shell is. As for the local exploitation, it's Dirty Cow and Baron Samgit. So I'm going to start with remote exploitations with the first exploitation, Eternal Blue. Uh, Eternal Blue has a CVE number of 2017 CVE-2017-0144. Um, Eternal Blue is a remote code execution vulnerability in Microsoft's SMB v1 protocol, discovered by the NSA and leaked by the shadow brokers. Attackers can execute arbitrary code on vulnerable systems by sending specially crafted packets. The scenario for this exploitation would be the attacker scans the network for systems with SMBv1 enabled and then sends a crafted packet to the target's SMBv1 service and then execute arbitrary code, potentially installing malware like WannaCry. So this is the WannaCry ransomware, or like the diagram of how it works. So basically, the malwares are dropped into the PC, and then it is infected but not encrypted. And the malicious server sends encryption key, and then it got infected and encrypted, and then it affects the rest of the system. And that is Eternal Blue. The second remote exploitation is Log4Shell. This is the CVN number, and Log4Shell is a critical vulnerability in Apache Log4j2 library that allows remote code execution when a specially crafted string is logged. This affects numerous Java applications that use Log4j for logging. So the scenario of how this would happen is first, the attacker sends a request containing a malicious payload, for example, this, to the vulnerable application. And then the application logs the payload using log4j2, and then log4j2 process the JNDI lookup, fetching and executing code from the attacker server. So this is how it would look like in a graph, since it's more understandable. And then we go to the local exploitations. Uh, the first local exploitation is the Dirty Cow. Dirty Cow is a privilege escalation vulnerability in the Linux kernel's copy on write mechanism. It allows local users to gain write access to read-only memory mappings, enabling them to modify files they shouldn't have access to. So the scenarios would be first, the attacker gains local access to the system, and then exploits the race condition in the copy on write mechanism to write to read-only files, and then modifies sensitive files to escalate privileges. So this is somewhat of how it would work. And then lastly, Baron SameDit. Baron SameDit is a heap-based buffer overflow vulnerability in the sudo utility allowing unprivileged users to gain root privileges by exploiting an off by one error when parsing command line arguments. So the scenarios would be that first, attacker invokes pseudo edit with a specially crafted argument ending with a backslash, and then triggers the buffer overflow, overriding heap metadata, and then lastly executes arbitrary code with the root privileges. So as you can see, this is how it looks like in the command line in terminal. This is a step by step essentially, and that is it for this week's assignment. And next week is going to be the week 10 or session 10. So 4 weeks before the final project due a presentation. Thank you, Sir Calpin, for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.